Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, the 14th of April, 2026, and we are just setting up to leave the campsite at Saint-Antonin-Noble-Val. Before we left campsite, I did take a couple of pictures across the valley of the mist hanging underneath the cliffs. All looks quite beautiful. Stop today is at Penne, a hilltop village with a ruined castle that was a Cathar stronghold. You can see us heading off through the countryside, following the river downstream through a series of tunnels before we turn off for Penne. I did stop and take some pictures just before we entered the village, but I could not find anywhere to park in the village close enough to have a walk around. So back out across country, and the next stop is Broniquel. You see us pulling into the car park in Broniquel. I hadn't realised till I walked up the hill that I've been here before. I came last summer. As we come up to the church, the building in front of you is the municipal toilets and the gift shop, a new building. And the church is on the right here, which we shall go in. This is the Église de Saint-Morph. Don't know very much about it. Wikipedia doesn't say anything about it, but it's quite a pretty little church. The village of Broniquel shelters in the lee of its chateau, or actually two chateaus. You get to the top, you can see at least one of them. In the 13th century, two rival cousins divided the fortress and ended up with two chateaus, teetering over the 100-metre high cliff. It was once the stronghold of the Protestants. You can see as I walk round the medieval streets, and the view from the ramparts is quite magnificent. Willoughby insisted on having his photograph taken. As you can see, we're wandering back down towards the car. You'll see that we come across a couple of cafes. Not quite open yet. I think it was just about 11:30. They were just thinking about opening for lunch. They were quite early. And then we'll get back on our way. The next stop was to be Montricoux, but I could not find a park, so just bypassed the town and kept going. Next we come to Caussade. I did not plan to stop here, so I didn't. But according to Wikipedia, it's quite an interesting little town with some bit of history. It's known as Hat City due to the milliner production. In the late 19th and early 20th century, the straw hat, the famous boater, was made here. On to another medieval hilltop village, Montpezat de Quercy, where again I couldn't find anywhere to stop. Looked quite interesting, but just had to keep going. Finally, on to our stop for the night at Castelnau-Montratier. We have a pretty little campsite, terraced, looking out over the valley. We get ourselves sorted out and go for a walk around the town. It's a pleasant little town laid out around the tree-lined market square with cafes and shops around the edge and a covered arcade down one side. Some medieval streets running away, including down to the church of St. Martin. As we come up to the church, you'll see it takes the high ground and sits on a promontory with great views all the way around. As we take a look inside, the official tourist page says its architecture is inspired by the Romano-Byzantine basilicas. It was actually built fairly recently at the end of the 19th century on the site of the Romanesque church of the Peche, or Peak. The installation of the dome, which is reminiscent of that of Saint-Antonin-Noble-Val on Montmartre, was carried out in 1935-36. The stained glass windows made of rosettes retrace the life of Saint Martin, the Virgin Mary, and Saint Joseph. One of them represents a mill. A beautiful point of view allows the discovery of the valley. We then walk back into town and stop and have a coffee. After Willoughby's had his coffee, we wander back to the campsite, and that leaves us finished for the day. As you can see from the maps, we've only done 46 miles, but it's pretty rural Franks. If you've liked what you've seen, then please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.